Greetings YouTube. The author Mark Simmons here, back for another reading, but I'm going to do a snippet from something that I've recently finished and I found interesting. So the book's called The Jigsaw Man by Paul Britton, and it's a biography of sorts. I'll just read you the blurb. Forensic Psychologist Paul Britton asks himself 4 questions when he is faced with a crime. What has happened? Who is the victim? How was it done? And why? Only when he has the answers to these questions can he address the 5th. Who is responsible? Paul Britton has assisted the police in over 100 cases and has almost mythic status in the fields of crime deduction. His achievements read as though from the pages of Conan Doyle or Agatha Christie. What he searches for at the scene of the crime are not the fingerprints, fibres or bloodstains. He looks for the mind trace left behind by those responsible. The psychological characteristics that can help the police to identify and understand the nature of the perpetrator. Jigsaw Man is not only a detective story involving some of the most high-profile cases of recent years, but also a journey of discovery into the darkest recesses of the human mind to confront the question, where does crime come from? So that's the blurb, and I'm just going to read you a little extract, a bit that I was particularly, intrigued by, or what caught my attention basically. So let's go from here. So what exactly are you saying? Asked Bennett. I'm saying that you're dealing with prolific murderers, what people now call serial killers. You have found only 3 of their victims. As the knowledge sank in, Bennett was the first to speak. Let me be quite clear about this. There are missing girls all over the country. Families who haven't seen their children in years. If this gets out, then every one of these families is going to be wondering. I was painfully aware of the consequences. Wounds would be opened that could literally never be closed for families involved. If it is confirmed that their daughter is a victim, the uncertainty is ended. But then they simply step from one level of torment to another and begin speculating about what might have happened. Only in this case, I know that they could never imagine the dreadful reality. But where are they? Asked Moore. Where are these other victims? Everywhere he lived. Everywhere he's worked, I said. Sometimes sexual psychopathic murderers get comfortable with disposing of bodies in a particular way. Some leave them in ditches, some of them in rivers, some bury them. Mr. and Mrs. West looked after them. They kept them close. So that's why they used the back garden. Not exactly, I said. He used the garden because the house is full. You should take it apart every square inch, the floors, the walls, the roofs. There'll be more bodies, I'm sure of it. And that was, just reading that was like, okay. And yeah, basically that's the bit where his involvement in at 25 Cromwell Street in Gloucester, an investigation into Frederick and Rosemary West, which is a very prolific time of a murder case in the UK back in the early 90s. It's just one of many cases he worked on over the course of his career, and a lot of them a lot of the cases are from my childhood, really, or around my childhood and early teens. So there's a lot of them that the early cases I don't really remember because I'm too young. But then there's ones like the Wests, for example, and a few other cases. I think he maybe worked on Jamie Bulger as well. So it's really interesting, and it's like the blurb says, it's done as a detective. It reads like a detective story, but it isn't. It's non-fiction, and I don't normally read non-fiction. It was recommended to me, kind of as research to the next project I'm working on. So yeah, if there's any true crime fans out there, I would recommend this. The Jigsaw Man by Paul Britton. Yeah, so I'll probably be reading some more of this. You can look this up on look me up on my Instagram feed, my Facebook author page, my Twitter feed, Goodreads, Amazon, all over the place. And I'll be doing another book soon when I've read one. Quite a slow reader, so yeah. See you next time.